What advice can you give to fellow people who are in the same business, who mistreat their workers?
If you really don't change your temperaments, if you don't change your lifestyle into the farming lifestyle, you will never benefit. First of all, you're going to make one worker hurt, and that hurt will spill over to the rest of the workers. And those people will let your animals die, even without telling you. That's what I can tell you. But the moment you make those people happy, you can never lose animals. Two, some of you people think that making what they call divide and rule can do better. In farming business, it doesn't work. Maybe it works somewhere else. But in farming business, it doesn't work. How? Because if I'm your worker and I have my colleague that is also your worker, he's taking care of his flock, I take care of my flock. And I want him to be in shit. What do? I make sure that I make him do a mistake. And that mistake, you will lose animals, such that you're pissed and chase him away. In that process of fighting each other, if a goat dies and I want him to know that it's you who lost the goat, finally it goes back to you, because it's your goat that is dying. Do you see how divide can't work? Because I'm making sure that I make my friend do a mistake, and he's also making sure that he's making me to do a mistake. But in that grudge and fight, it is the owner that is losing. So my dear, don't use divide and rule. In this section, it cannot work. Please just befriend the guys, make sure they unite and they have a strength to do that.
How have you handled diseases on your farm?
Diseases are very simple. Actually, it's one of the simplest things to handle. First of all, most of the diseases that attacks goats are vaccinatable diseases. It is your laziness, or it's my laziness, that I don't want to vaccinate. And the vaccine is too cheap than even treatment, because vaccinating each of the disease of an animal will maximum cost you 700 shillings per year. And you know, if you wait to lose a goat of 6 millions or 5 millions or 4 because of 700 shillings, that goes back to you. Secondly, the diseases that attacks us are minor, like maybe diarrheas. You have to ensure that you have a kit, that kit which has drugs and the drugs that can help. Get your workers trained. It's very simple to train a worker. Do not rely and say, I only have to wait for a vet. Vets are also very busy, and there are very few in the area. So get your workers trained. Then after getting trained, do what you're supposed to do right. What do you have to do? Make sure that you vaccinate your animals, all the diseases every year. Then make sure that you spray your animals every week. Then make sure that you deworm your animals after 3 months. More so if you have shrubs and their goats are not grazing like mine. But mine, since they are grazing, I make sure that I deworm them after 2 months. Those are the basics that you can really do. If you vaccinate, do the rest, get your workers, have an exposure by getting trained on farms that really do the same. You will never go wrong with goat farm. Yeah, the challenges I've got, basically, they were about the drugs, the acaricides. The ticks had built tick resistance, and then you use an acaricide, and you find that the ticks are not dying. Then two, also workers is also another challenge, because you know, when you're dealing with human resource, you're dealing with a relationship. If some of you could tell me how many people you had a relationship with before you even got a person to get married to, your lists will not end. But actually, also workers is the same way. You try the worker. If it doesn't work out well with him, please change to another worker, till when you get a person who is passionate about farming, who is really very interested, and they will be able to work with you. So some of the challenges, those were the challenges. Basically, the resistance of the acaricides. Secondly, the workers, you know, having those kind of habits. You're working out with him very well, but he's showing you that he's supposed to go. Those are some of the challenges that
you've encountered?
Not much problems, but my other farmers get those problems because they start wrong. But me, I started right because I already had the experience. So the problem those people have, they think about of the project. Then after thinking about of the project, they never went into another detail of knowing how the project is started, and people are just lied. Then at the end of it all, they hit on the wall and they say that goat farming is very complicated. So there is no much problem that we so far have, unless the big problem is those people that really need a big mass of animals for export, and we don't have them. Somebody is offering $1 billion to do goat farming, giving him 10,000 animals per month, and I can't afford. So that is one of the things that really give us traumas as farmers. Seeing the money, but we can't touch it because we have no animals. So those are some of our problems that we really have. The key factors for goat farming, I told you many times, knowing the land, having the land. 2, which grasses do you have? 3, what is the location? Do you have water or not? Then as well, I think those are some of the key that a farmer would think about. Think about of water, think about of pastures, think about of good genetics, and very good management. Those are the key factors that might lead you to be a successful farmer or to be a failure.
Is weather condition a problem?
Yeah, weather is also another problem, because now in the rainy season, we tend to have a lot of infections. But as a devoted farmer, you know how to handle each season. I've told you many times, I've told many people on my YouTube channel, every season we have drugs that we have to have. Each season, you have to get prepared for it. Like the rainy season, we always deworm earlier, and in the middle we deworm. In the dry spell, we have to get prepared for fleas, because those are the diseases that really disturb us. So if a farmer is very well organized, it's very easy to handle these animals. So basically, that's what I can give to the farmer, that just know the season and handle it in a different way. And actually, know how to utilize the season. Like now we've been in a rainy season. We were supposed to be harvesting grass, planting grass and harvesting. Most of the farmers have not been minding about that. So now we are going into a dry spell, and you hear farmers crying that we have no grass. Yet we've been having a very good rain for that case. And we, in Uganda, we can't complain about the weather, because we have the best. I don't know what you guys understand by Pearl of Africa. Me, I think we don't have even to complain about that, because our giant farmers in South Africa, they even take some 7 years without rain, which cannot even happen in our country here. But they struggle all their way to make sure that they feed the animals. Funny enough, we who have a lot of grasses, instead of planting and exporting to them, we run to go and pick the animals from them. And they struggle a lot, and we afford to buy those animals very expensive. But the reason why we buy them expensive, because they use a lot of money to give them feeds, and they charge us who wants them. But for us who have that, we can't utilize the chance of planting and having enough pastures, such that we can as well sell to them. They sell us the animals, genetics, we sell to them the pastures. So basically that.
Any message to our viewers?
My viewers or my followers, the message I can give to you is, if we take goat farming serious, it is really going to employ many of us. It's going to employ our kids, because me, I wouldn't like my kid to go into that pipeline of looking for a job. I'm making sure that my kids get to understand where I get the money. They get to understand how to run the project, such that when they get done with school, they know where to go. And that will help us as a country to accommodate the new generation. Instead of the new generations running into politics, they will be running into farming. And for your information, we can never produce enough goat's meat to the world. The world is too open and really needs our meat. because we are the Pearl of Africa. That means we have a lot of good meat. Our meat is tasty and everybody is yearning for it. So I call upon all of you people who have money and those who doesn't have money to try and join goat farming. It's going to be beneficial for us. It's going to create a lot of jobs for us. And basically it's going to help us move to another level in terms of making money, in terms of being rich, and also accommodating our own kids into the business. So basically, come join us, do the farming, because for us we have pioneered to give you the information for free. Learn, do it. That is going to help us accumulate a lot of animals, and that will lead us to go into the export as farmers. So basically, this is the only option, is one of the only options that we have that can accommodate all of us and can make all of us.
Your social media, how can people get you?
My social media, they can check on Facebook. I use Ham Animal Breeding Farm. And on YouTube, you put in Hamiisi Semanda, goat farming. And I think those are basically the two that I always use. I use YouTube. I use also TikTok. I also use Twitter. So you always put in my name or put in the names of the farm. You can always get me and get all the information that you need.